On the dais from Connecticut will be head coach Gino Ariema and student athletes Morgan Tuck and Brianna Stewart. We'll open with a statement from Coach Oriema, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes.
Put me all the way over here?
Yeah, I did.
You don't want me too close to you?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, we played, really well for long stretches at a time, and we went into the game knowing that, Maryland was going to be a difficult matchup for our guards, that their guards were going to be a big part of what they were trying to do, and I thought for the most part we handled it pretty well. We've got the kind of team that when we go on runs and things start breaking our way, we take advantage of those situations, and we did so again tonight. And we felt going into the game that we had a little bit of an advantage with these two, with Morgan and Stewie, and we tried to really take advantage of that. And obviously they were great. I can't say enough about them. Tuck, anyway. Tuck played both ends of the floor. She played defense, rebounded, she scored.
We'll take questions for the student athletes now, please. Right down here in front.
Morgan, Rick Wilson, nice game tonight. On a night where they did a pretty good job bottling up Kalena, can you talk about how well you played? 24 and 9, 10 for 16 from the floor, out there taking over.
I think I just credit my teammates. They gave me the ball where I'm best at, and that's around the basket or driving to the basket. So, I think I played well because my teammates played well as well.
Rich in the corner.
Rich Elliott, London Day. Morgan, you weren't able to play here last year because of the injury, obviously. What did it mean to you tonight to play in this setting and to do so well?
It means a lot, just to be out there and actually contributing and making an impact. That's why I came here, and, to really be doing it, it's just a great feeling.
Question right here.
Todd Carton, Testudo Times. This is also from Morgan. You made 2 threes early in the first half, and you're basically been about 28% on the season. Do you think that contributed to opening up some lanes for you going to the basket?
Yeah, I think so. I know I have to hit some outside shots so that they guard me and that they can't, double Stewie and Kalina. So I'm just trying to, when I'm open, just try to knock it down to make it easier on them.
Richard?
Yeah, Richard Deitch, Sports Illustrated. Brianna, the game was, against Notre Dame was a long time ago in December. But what do you remember about that game? What stood out for you most about that win?
In December?
Yeah, the December win in South Bend.
I think what I most remember is, they got to a point where we were down 10 in the game. And, it still felt like we were in control. And we were able to really come back. And Morgan played great in that game. And so did Kia Stokes. She had a lot of rebounds. I'm not sure how many. But we really were the aggressors, and we came in there, and we wanted that game more.
Question down here, Rich.
This question for Stewie. What's it mean for you guys to have gone through this road to get to this point and now be one win away from winning another national championship?
It means a lot. This is exactly where we want to be right now. We want to be, playing Tuesday night. That's the last game of the season, and we got to make sure that there's still work to do. We have practice tomorrow. We got to really focus in on Notre Dame because, we don't just want to play in the national championship game. We want to win the game.
Question here, Doug.
Doug Farmer, the AP. Brianna, just talk about Morgan's game tonight and how much it means seeing her excel after what happened last year. She missed the whole NCAAs and such.
To see Morgan play how she did tonight it's just a great feeling. Especially as you said, she sat out all last season just because of her injuries and that kind of thing, and she kind of slid under the radar, even though we all knew what she could do. And she just really came out tonight just to show everyone that you know, she's one of the best players in the country, and, you know, I'm glad she's on our team.
We'll take one more question for the student athletes.
Morgan, how important was it for you guys to come out in the first couple minutes in the second half and hit them with that quick run to extend your lead?
I think it was just pretty important just to get a run going. And, you know, I think it's always important to start the half off or coming out of timeout with the basket. And so, I mean, I think it just helps us get our momentum going.
Thank you, ladies. They will be available in the locker room until it closes at 11:38. And we'll begin with questions for Coach Oriema. And we'll start right here.
Gino, you've raved about Morgan all year long. You've got 3 All-Americans, and I don't know how many you can get, but did she certainly, I guess, give us one more example of why she should be the 4th All-American?
Yeah, I mean, I understand, obviously. You know, there's a lot of really good players in the country. And I understand that, you know, you can only reward our team so much for what we did, and the 3 that they picked to be All-American, I thought deserved it. I thought all 3 of them had tremendous years, and I think because we have Stewie, Morgan gets overlooked a little bit. And we talked about it after the awards came out, you know, and she was okay with it. She was okay with it. On our team, if people had an opportunity to come to watch our practices, they would think that there's a lot of practices during the course of the season where if you came in there, you would think Tuck was the National Player of the Year. That's how good she is every day in practice. And not having played all of last year, obviously, you know, she wasn't in the conversation at the beginning of the season of who the top players in the country are. But there's a lot of kids that made first-team All-American that wish they were playing Tuesday night. So it all works out.
Question here, Richard.
You know, you've played Notre Dame, I mean, seemingly an inconceivable amount of time since 2009. How would you evaluate what it's like to play against them? Do you enjoy it? Does it become too much? What do you make of the fact that you've played an opponent so much?
Well, they were in our league, and clearly we were the 2 best teams in our league. And when that's the situation, you're setting yourself up to play at least 3 times if you're the 2 best teams. And then because they're so good, you know, they end up here all those years that we were here. And I think it's a credit, and it says a lot about them and what they've been able to do. They're a lot like us, and I think that's why they, you know, they have had success against us. You know, they have a lot of the same qualities that we have as a team, as a program. So we give them problems like other teams in the country don't, and they give us problems like other teams in the country don't. I mean, yeah, Notre Dame beat us, you know, a bunch of times there after not beating us at all for a long period of time. Then they beat us a bunch of times, and everybody thought there was something wrong with us. And sometimes at Connecticut, when you lose, it's what's wrong with you, not like what's so good about the other guys. Then they went to another league and they win every game there by 100, and so everybody found out in that league too how good they really are. So Tuesday night's not going to be any fun, believe me. I mean, I'm glad we're playing in that game, but it's not going to be any fun. They're really hard to play against.
Question back, Jim.
Jim Fuller, New Haven Redshirt. You went to Kia Stokes. You went big against them. Just talk about how you thought that maybe changed a little bit of the way you guys were able to play against their front line?
Well, we were trying to figure out what gave us the best opportunity to guard them. And we knew we were going to have a problem man-to-man. So we made a decision to go zone, and that's Kia. So when Kia comes in, we can play a little bit of zone. We can change our man-to-man a little bit, make it look a little bit different than it looks otherwise. And she gives us a big presence in the middle. I mean, we're not very big. I mean, so having Kia in there, it just frees up Stewie and Tuck to move out on the perimeter a little more, where I thought then their guys would have a hard time guarding, because they were clogging up the lane pretty much. It's almost like they made two decisions. Maryland did. We're going to guard K pretty hard, and then we're going to keep everybody else in the lane and try to bottle all those guys up. So I've said this all along. When Kia's good, she's really, really, really good. And today she was really good.
Question right here.
Lee Michelson, fullcourt.com. In years past, you've talked disparagingly about other coaches who say, well, UConn's always so dominant because they get the best players, like deprecating their own players. If it's not the players, one would think you're defaulting to coaches, but I've never heard you speak that way, like I'm better than any other coach in the country. So what is it exactly that enables you to consistently, year after year, beat the best teams in the country by substantial margins?
That is true, that there is that perception out there that, and believe me, it's not a wrong perception, that we get really good players. And in a lot of cases, we do get the best players. Stewie was the best player in high school coming out of high school. So yeah, we do get, but we don't get all of them. We just get some. And then there's probably 10 or 12 other teams in the country that they get some. And then when you add them all up over 4 years, they have 7 guys that were All-American, and so do we. And that's the beauty of women's basketball in one sense, is that when you get to the Final Four, it's kind of like on the men's side this year, the 4 best teams made it to the Final Four. That doesn't always happen, but in women's basketball, that happens a lot, because people stay for 4 years and they get better every year. And so we know what we have to do if we want to win a national championship. We have to beat the best teams. So we practice in a way that we prepare to beat the best teams. And our kids really buy into that, They love the winning part, and they love the way we do it. And I don't think we have a secret formula. I don't think we have a magic potion that we, I just think we do certain things that I know other coaches don't do. We do certain things that I know other programs don't do. And we reap the benefits of it. I don't think I work any harder than any other coach. I don't put in more hours than anybody else. I don't watch more film than anybody else. My staff, and we're really good at what we do, but we're not so much better than everybody else that nobody can beat us. I'm not comfortable with me saying that.
We have one final question down here. Rich?
Gino, 9-0 in the title game. What do you attribute your success to in this game?
Trying not to listen to people talk about what the record is. Because, if you're playing enough of these games, you're going to lose at some point. We've played in a lot of these. I mean, we played in 9 of them, so that's a lot. And we've won all 9 of them. I hope we play in 9 more. while I'm at Connecticut. And the thought of that we're going to go 18-0 in these games, if that happens, ludicrous. Ludicrous. So we're going in on Tuesday. It's one game, one night for the season, really. So one game, one night. And the other 9 aren't going to have any bearing on it. You know, that's not going to mean anything. Nothing. At least not for me. I'm nauseous already thinking about Tuesday's game. So,
And actually, we're going to have one last question here.
Hey, Gino, you said in Albany you were impressed with what Muffet has done this year
Yeah.
with what she lost. Just talk for a second. I mean, they probably weren't predicted to be back here knowing what they lost last year to graduation. Just how impressive that they are back in the title game for a second straight year playing you guys.
Yeah.
4th and 5 year.
Well, I think that's what I said about they're a lot like us, you know. And, you know, we lost Stephanie and Bria. You know, we lost 2 All-Americans. And it was just assumed that, well, you're going to be, you know, you're going to be back there. They lost 2 All-Americans, you know. And they're back because I think at Notre Dame and at Connecticut, we don't try to have great teams. Like our goal, and I don't think their goal is any different. I think Notre Dame now, they're not interested in having a great team. Their program now kind of sustains great teams year in and year out. They're not dependent as much as some other schools maybe on graduation, recruiting. There's always enough players already at that, in those programs, that when somebody graduates, they just fill somebody in that spot. No matter how good that other person was, you just move somebody in that spot, and because of the culture that they've created there, those people are able to thrive and survive and play great because that's what the expectation level is. Some other place, you lose 2 All-Americans to graduation, the guys coming in go, well, we can never be that good, so they're not. But I think at places like hopefully Connecticut and Notre Dame, the expectation is I don't care what you look like or where you were last year. When I put you in that spot, you're going to play like an All-American. And that's, you know, that's a heck of a compliment for any program. And they're, right now, I think, you know, obviously I'm biased. I think we're the best. But you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody better than them.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.